What's going on, y'all? I'm out here in the shop working on these Fox bodies, and in this episode I'm going to clarify some misinformation that I put out about, I think it was 2 episodes ago or 2 videos ago. And the video I'm talking about is where I put the 408 in this gray car along with the transmission and the Mcleod dual disc clutch. And where I screwed up was where I was trying to tell you how to set up your clutch fork for the dual disc clutch. Because when I got done with that video and I tried to get this car backed out, no matter how much I adjusted the clutch, I could not get this thing to go in reverse. Trying to think of a way to make this a little more straightforward for folks that are doing this at home, because I'm gonna tell you guys, I had this transmission in and out of this car a total of 8 times. And if you're doing this on your back in the driveway, that is just too much. So it was too much with the lift, but I came up with an idea, and I'm going to test that idea on the GT right here because it's getting the same clutch setup that's in the gray car. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, I got the best information straight from Mcleod, and I called a bunch of people, I watched a bunch of videos, and there was really nothing definitive. But where I messed up in the last video was with the diagram that I showed you, where I said you start with your fork behind the plane of the pivot ball, and then when you mash your clutch pedal all the way to the floor, your clutch fork is parallel to your flywheel. So when I told the guy at Mcleod that, he said, well, you're half right. So I said, all right, so tell me what should I be looking for? And he said, well, the first part's true. Your clutch fork should be behind the plane of the pivot ball when you start. But he said, when your clutch is about halfway down is when you should be parallel to the flywheel. And he said, when it's all the way down, you should be past the plane of your pivot ball, because that's really where your clutch is releasing. And he said, you're definitely gonna have to have an adjustable pivot ball, which I did. That was the only way I got this to work. So add that to your order list. And the other thing that he told me was that I needed a 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch air gap between the fingers of the pressure plate and the throwout bearing. And it took a second for that to click in my head what he was talking about, because everybody knows that in a Fox body, the throwout bearing rides on the pressure plate fingers all the time. But what he's talking about was before the clutch is adjusted. So like I said, I'm gonna use this car as a guinea pig, and I'm gonna show you everything I'm talking about, and I'm gonna show you my idea, and we're gonna find out if it works. And if it does, you'll be able to get your dual disc clutch in your Fox body with no problem. But guys, as always, I have rambled on way too long, so let me shut up and let's get into it. Now that the transmission is out of the car, I'm gonna go ahead and get some measurements, because this is basically a stock setup. So everything should be in the correct location, and this clutch did work perfectly. So the first thing I wanna look at is the distance between the fingers on the pressure plate and the throwout bearing. We're looking through the opening of the bell housing where the clutch fork goes in. And all I'm doing right now is verifying what the guy at Mcleod told me about the measurement between the pressure plate fingers and the throwout bearing. He stated that that distance should be between 1/8 and 1/4 inch. So right now I'm at the neutral or home position, and that's where the throwout bearing is barely touching the fingers. And he said all you have to do is move your clutch fork back. And the reason this is important is because that lets you know if your pivot ball length is correct. That measurement ended up being 4 millimeters, which is 5/32, and that's just a little bit bigger than 1/8 of an inch. So it's within spec, which you would expect because this is all a stock setup. With that being said, I am absolutely going to base everything that I'm wanting to try off of this setup. And I'm gonna get a couple more measurements, and I'm gonna explain what I'm doing. So the first one I'm gonna get is gonna be from the mounting surface or the plane of the bell housing where the transmission goes in to the bottom of the head of the pivot ball. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because that should let me check my clutch fork as opposed to the plane of the pivot ball in the various pedal positions like the guy at Mcleod was explaining to me. The other measurements I'm gonna get is going to be from the bottom of the pivot ball head to the lip of the pressure plate. And I'm gonna do it on the bottom and the top. And then I'm going to do it from the bottom of the head of the pivot stud ball to the body of the pressure plate at the bottom and the top. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because all this works like it should. So let's say this measurement is 25 millimeters. My theory is that even with the thicker clutch, it's obviously gonna move this back towards the head. But if I use my adjustable pivot ball to make the distance 25 millimeters, hopefully everything is gonna be in line. There was no way that I could get in there to video that and make it make sense. So I just got all my measurements, made some crude diagrams. And guys, these numbers probably aren't gonna be the same for your car, but I'm gonna try to simplify this anyway. But my measurement from the plane of the bell housing where the transmission goes in to the bottom of the pivot bolt stud head was 73.65. And that's gonna let me see where my clutch fork is in relation to the plane of the pivot ball. The other measurements that I took, which I'm going to make the same once I install the dual disc clutch and the adjustable pivot ball, from the bottom of the head to the lip was between 22.25, 22.35, and from under the head of the pivot ball to the body of the pressure plate, you can see the numbers there. So I'm gonna get the new clutch installed, I'm gonna get the new pivot ball installed, and we're gonna see if this works. I've got the new clutch in it, and I actually adjusted my adjustable pivot ball stud to the 73.65 because I just wanted to check something. And sure enough, I know it's hard to see in there, guys, but you can't even get the clutch fork over the pivot ball stud because it's actually hitting the pressure plate in that area right there. And I know it's really hard to see, but now I'm gonna take my other measurements and I'm gonna move my pivot ball stud back using those measurements. And once I get that done, I'm gonna get the fork on it and see what kind of clearance that I have between the throwout bearing and the fingers of the pressure plate. And hopefully it's gonna be between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4. I've got my adjustable pivot ball stud length to within 1/2 millimeter of the measurements that I took off the factory bell housing, which was 22.25 to 22.35. And if you're wondering how much 1/2 millimeter is, that's basically about 2 index cards thick. So I think I'm good there. I've also checked my distance between the throwout bearing to the fingers on the pressure plate, and that's within spec. It's right at 4 millimeters again, which is basically 1/8 of an inch. And Mcleod said that was good. The last thing I'm gonna do, because I have to pull this off again to tighten the nut on the ball pivot stud. So I'm gonna get one more measurement from the flat spot where the transmission mounts to the bottom of the head there, because when I pull this off, if anything moves, I wanna have a measurement that I can go by from here to there. And then I can lock my nut down. And the last thing I'm gonna have to do, or if you do this, you're gonna need to do this as well. You're gonna have to cut this back of this pivot ball stud off because it's sticking out the back of the bell housing. And you might have clearance, but I don't think that's something you wanna take a chance on, because if you bolt the transmission in and you don't have clearance, you're either gonna bust the case of the transmission, or more than likely you're gonna bust your bell housing. I guess my theory worked, because I was able to get this clutch adjusted with no problems whatsoever. And this thing shifts smooth as butter. And I actually recorded backing the car out, and then what I thought I was recording going down the road so you could see how nice this thing shifts, I didn't record it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the car back out. Not going to be able to hammer on it because the recommendation from Mcleod is 1,200 clutch cycles before you start hammering on it. I'll never get it to the 1,200 clutch cycles, but the owner hopefully will, because this thing is about to go back home. But I just want you guys to see how smooth this thing shifts. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, but I feel like that I only need one measurement from here on out. So of all those measurements that I took, I only basically needed the one. So I'm going to explain to you in case you're wanting to try to do this at home. The one measurement that I'm going to use from now on is going to be from the bottom of the pivot head stud to the pressure plate lip. So when I take the old transmission out of whatever car it is, I'm going to get that measurement. And then when I get the new setup in there, even though the dual disc is thicker, I've got my adjustable pivot ball to make that distance match. So if it's 25 millimeters on the old setup, you want to make it 25 millimeters on the new setup. That's exactly what I did with this car, and you guys just saw how smoothly this thing shifts. But guys, I'm not sure what the next episode is going to be, but as always, I'm busy, so I'm out.